What a day to be alive. Welcome to Rise Up with Rick. We are passionate about helping you extract the most out of every day and exploring and enhancing all things physical, mental, and emotional well-being and performance. We are brought to you by runners.com. That's runnez.com, as well as rickmirabella.com. Radio, let's launch now.
G'day and welcome to Rise Up with Rick Now. My guest today is an absolute ripper. They have done some amazing work, this great man and his co-founder, for the last 6 years and counting already. Not only are they really opening up awareness and open and authentic conversations around mental health, but they're, of the latest times, they've offered a service that is, to my knowledge, revolutionary, and I love it. It's free, it's easy, and it gives people an actual system to go through that is just often so conflicted and clouded, and it makes it so easy through their TIACS system. The co-founder of TradeMutt, I welcome Ed Ross.
Hey Rick, how are you, mate?
Marvelous to have you. I've got you today just off the back of a huge launch throughout world or nationwide in Bunnings, which I'm wearing. If you're on YouTube, you're not listening on the Apple or the Spotify, I'm wearing these magnificent tops. They are conversation starters. I tell you what, they're very flattering too. I really like the way. And this magnificent drink bottle, you'll never be dehydrated again. And the TIACS drink bottle, conversation starters, but they've got lots of other important stuff, barcodes and the like. But I'll let you talk about that. How are you, mate? It's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks, no doubt.
Mate, hectic. Yeah, just trying to maintain a level of energy to get through it all. But yeah, no, not too bad, to be honest. It's just lots of stuff going on. Just pretty hectic when you put yourself out there with a national brand like Bunnings. So learning a lot in real time and hearing a lot of really great stories coming through, and just seeing the shirts popping up all over the country is something that's truly remarkable. So we're pumped.
Yeah, you should be pumped. And I've got no doubt it's been a whirlwind, and you're probably riding on adrenaline a bit. When you're helping this many people at this kind of a level, it's just phenomenal. And I don't think it would have sunk in for you guys just yet how many people you've already touched and helped. But I know there's stats around it already. For the guys overseas and the listeners overseas, Bunnings is easily the biggest hardware store and easily probably the commercial entity there is. Everyone loves going to Bunnings, even if you're like me and no good with tools. You love going to Bunnings and having a coffee and walking around. But I'll give you the tip. These boys are everywhere. TradeMutt, I mentioned. The non-for-profit is TIACS, of course, which is this, as an acronym for this is a conversation starter. But I'm going to leave it there. These tops are amazing. I've spoken about what you've done the last week or two, and I need to know, the listeners need to know, how did this come to be that you are everywhere, all over socials, Bunnings, in every state in the country? How does this come to be from here?
The business itself, or the collaboration with Bunnings?
No, the business itself, mate.
Business itself, yeah. So I started a mature age carpentry apprenticeship in Brisbane in 2014, end of 2014, and started working for a builder, and another bloke who started the same day was Dan, who's became a best mate and business partner. So we just started working together, new blokes on job sites, doing all the shit jobs, a lot of waterproofing and, insulation and just crap. So I was, first day of my apprenticeship, and Dan was, licensed tradie. So we got lumped together as the two new blokes on site. And there was just a lot of reasons why we wouldn't be mates, but then we just had a shared humor in Jim Carrey movies or Quentin Tarantino, and just talking shit on site. Basically, we had the same sense of humor, which was really bonded us together.
Over humor and shit jobs, waterproofing, sweeping the floors, anything that's under a house or in the roof, no doubt.
Just crap. Yeah, just completely crap. Absolutely hated it. I remember there one day I was like, stuff this. I'm educated. I can go and get a job in like ag finance or, ag sales or something. I don't know why I'm doing this. And Dan's like, no, they're just testing us. Like, just stick with it. You'll be fine. And lucky we did, because obviously gone on to do what we have. But when it was must have been, in 2015, we started doing a lot of cash jobs together. So Dan was getting a lot of work sort of after hours and on weekends, and he needed someone to assist him with that. So I started giving him a hand, and we were just working like copious amounts of hours, just insane. And then one afternoon, Dan got a call from one of his mates, Dan, who had just got a mature age carpentry apprenticeship, and he was starting work on the Monday. And he was just elated, just so stoked that he, got this apprenticeship and it finally sort of happening for him. He was really pumped. And then, yeah, tragically on the Sunday, Dan got another phone call, and it was that his mate had taken his life the night before. And that was like a massive turning point for us because, Dan and I had never been affected by suicide sort of directly or indirectly previous to that. It was just such an eye-opening experience to think how someone could go from where they were to, where they ended up in such a short period of time. And yeah, just trying to understand and navigate that. And Dan obviously losing one of his best mates, and that grieving process, and trying to make sense of it. And while I'm at work, trying to support him without really knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the weeks and months that followed, we just started looking at the mental health space and realized that it was being sold to us like really poorly because, well, we're both young men. You're more likely to die from suicide than anything else if you're a male under the age of 44. So like we were just shocked by these statistics, and we're like, well, why is no one talking about this stuff? And yeah, we didn't know anything about like anxiety or depression or stresses, and we just wanted to unpack it all. So I started looking into it, realized that there was a massive gap in the way that mental health was marketed to us, and something that we needed to really change. So we already had the idea for work shirts. We thought there was a big opportunity to make some funky work shirts on job sites because, there just wasn't anything out there. No one had done anything in that space. So we looked at that and then found out about social enterprise and profit for purpose, and basically lumped the two ideas together, launched in March 2018. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind ride ever since.
You succincted those couple of years pretty well. I've got no doubt it would have been a lot of time and effort after hours. The shirts are magnificent, and if you, like I said, look, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's magnificent. You can see the shirt, but if you're listening, just Google them. They're unbelievable, and go to the website. Make sure it's in the show notes. But was it all initially around raising awareness? Because from what I can gather, you and Dan, your partner, you hadn't experienced any of your own or too many of your own mental health struggles, and this was the first instance that you'd had to come across suicide. And then the conversations that take place in all male aspects, whether it's a football club, a cricket club, not there for everyone, of course, but those, and the job site is the absolute mecca of that. These weren't normal, these conversations.
No, and that's what we want to do, just normalize the conversations, basically. That was the first step. But with social enterprise and profit for purpose, you've got to invest into the change that you're willing to make or wanting to make socially. And for us, it was obviously, yeah, mental health for the blue collar industry. So the shirts were getting out there, they were starting conversations, which was great. And, we weren't just going to tick a box and donate money to an existing non-for-profit just to say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. It was very much, us controlling our outcomes and ensuring that what we were doing was actually making change within our industry. And what we realized pretty quickly was people within the residential, building construction, which we came from, there wasn't any investment into staff wellbeing and especially mental wellbeing. And that was because, most of the time you're just going job to job trying to keep the lights on and get everyone paid every week, so there's not that spare cash and that ability to invest that time and money. So for us, what we wanted to do was figure out how we could make the most amount of impact within that industry, for the best bang for our buck. And very quickly, people were reaching out to us saying, hey, look, we bought the shirts, we're starting conversations, but, I've got someone struggling, or, there's someone not going so well, where do I go, or who do I talk to? And the basic way for people to gain access to a mental health professional and not across support service was, getting time off work, going and seeing the doctor, then, getting on a mental health plan, leaving that, paying for that appointment, then booking in with a psychologist or counselor, finding one that suits, booking in that appointment. It's, all these out-of-pocket expenses, and there's all these, barriers to entry. And, as males, we knew pretty quickly that if it wasn't made easy, it just wouldn't happen. So what we said was, why don't we just remove all the physical and financial barriers that are preventing people from reaching out? and just get people access instantaneously through to mental health professionals, ongoing. So that's what we did. So we launched TIACS in June 2020, and it wants to be the mental health service that you tell your mates about. So it's very much a professional counselling service that's done via phone and text, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And TradeMutt donates 50% of its profits to it every year. And we've got 40 odd other financial partners that have jumped on board, and we've funded almost 20,000 tradies, farmers, blue collar workers, access to counselling, which is something we're profoundly stoked about, and something that we're continuing to grow every day. So it's really cool.
That is profound, and it will grow every day. It's phenomenal, mate. The numbers are huge, and I don't. One life saved is phenomenal, and you've made a ripple effect in the family, and then the family's life, and the people around us life, and the generational stuff. And then to think 30,000 already is just it's I can't even compute that. And imagine in 5 years' time. The biggest thing is, you're right, the barrier to entry and making it frictionless. You when you were talking, and I've seen it hundreds of times, people will just throw their hands up in the air, and it's just too hard. And it's very hard.
Yeah.
Mental health plans and the like, whether it's financial, time restraints, people don't want to talk about it in front of 4 people, tell their story to 5 people, then find one that suits. The way you make it so easy, and there's a barcode on this collar, there's a barcode on this, there's barcodes everywhere, there's access
Underneath the pocket.
there. It's everywhere. Like, it's just so easy for people to get hold of TX now. With this stuff as well, Ed, the individual can speak to the same counsellor, correct, ongoing, which I just think is just phenomenal. And again, free of charge, because TradeMutt donates 50% of all profits to this service every single year. Tell us about the counsellors and how you go about finding these kind of people.
Yeah, so luckily for Dan and I, we've been, really blessed to meet a lot of amazing people and have them involved within our organisations over the years. So at the moment, we've got, our two CEOs over at TIACS, so Jason Banks and Sue Yankovic. So Sue manages all our in-house clinical team and governance and everything like that. So she does an amazing job in even finding the right counsellors to fit our model of care. So for us, it's very much a collaborative approach to our counselling efforts. So it's not, counsellors working within silos. It's counsellors working with their clients, but then trying to understand post, session, how they can improve the well-being of these individuals that are reaching out to us, which is really important. So it's not just, individual counsellors speaking to individuals. It's very much a collaborative approach in improving the well-being of all of our clients, and it's a professional service, something that all of our counsellors need to have a master's degree in counselling, which is really cool, and really trying to break that mold of standard non-for-profits, and this idea around people donating their time and volunteering and then providing care. It's very much all of our counsellors are on a paid wicket. They're paid above award wage. They're sort of the cream of the crop from the Brisbane area, and just making sure that people are getting the best possible outcomes through the counselling that we're delivering is super important to us.
Yeah, superb. It's craziness. It's an amazing idea. Non-for-profits and these kind of things over the years, it's all very, very noble, and donating charity and time and money. But what you're doing at the coalface to make a difference day in, day out in people's lives, and most of which you'll never meet, is phenomenal. The tops themselves, I know you went through a fair journey, because, like you said, you're 2 tradies. I know you've obviously clearly got a lot of business acumen, but 2 tradies on the tools trying to work out the tops. When did you know you were on a good thing? And there was a lot of mainstream media in a very early days. Tell us about this, and how did you keep up with the mainstream media success and the afterflow of that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, for us, we were very fortunate that our story was being told a hell of a lot, on TV and radio around the country. So we got a really good PR run to kick off with, which was great. And it did show to us proof of concept that, this is something that people are interested in and wanting to, get around and support, which is really cool. But being able to just manage that initial wave of interest was hardcore for us, because when you start off and you're trying to get a business going, you don't know what to say yes and no to, and it's very hard to say no to things. And then very quickly we just realized we were burning ourselves out, and we're doing things for people that were not financially sustainable for the business, and we were just really kind of killing ourselves slowly by saying yes to everything and just overcommitting, right? So for us, it was very quickly figuring out what our business model was, what makes us money, what allows us to make the most impact, and just kind of manage people's expectations, because that's the main thing majority of the time. It's just, someone wants you to come out and do a toolbox talk at, a plumbing business somewhere, and it's, they've got 10 staff, which is great because that organization really wants to make some change in their business and, start some conversation, hear some stories, which is awesome. And we're all for it, right? But that's not our business model. Like, our business model is activating those organizations with our work shirts, and then having them have those vulnerable conversations and build connections on a peer-to-peer level within the business. And then when they want to reach out to TIACS, they can do that free and ongoing. So it's very much just like educating the community around exactly what we do, and how people can support us and help us make more impact. So that was, quite a steep learning curve for Dan and I, because saying no to people can be difficult, especially when what they're wanting is to do something positive, but it just doesn't fit with what you're doing, and you just cannot do everything because, it's just completely unsustainable.
Yeah, great words for anybody in business, new, and especially like you said, you want to say yes, especially when it's around helping people, and the difference you can make. But you guys are only two men, and you're gonna the sustainability and the longevity and the lifespan and health span of this organization, and you two men and individuals is crucial. So you need. I love that you learned that pretty early. Sometimes that takes some of us a lot longer to learn, but I think because you grew so quickly and exponentially, it was really important that you did that. That was kind of, I was jumping ahead, but I was going to throw to that. How do you and Dan take care? Look, you've got a lot on your plate. How do
Mm.
you bulletproof? How do you bulletproof yourselves around your own well-being, mental health, robustness, physical well-being, and energy levels?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, for me personally, it's very much around just sort of consistency. So, yeah, like eating well. Obviously, we're on the road a hell of a lot. And realizing pretty quickly that, lunchtime meetings, having two schooners, you're pretty much rooted in the arvo. So, not doing that anymore. Even, during the week, going out for dinners and stuff, like, just not drinking grog, like, just drink a Coke Zero or some sparkling water is makes a big change to me and my mental clarity the next day, and just ability to get up and exercise. So same thing, just go to the gym here at home every day I'm home, and then when I'm on the road, either go for a run or find a local gym and go to that, because it's as soon as you miss 2 or 3 days, my head noise gets a bit ordinary, and get down on myself, and you just don't have that sharpness, and you're just not on your A game. So they're two things I really do. And then the third thing for mental well-being is just going and seeing my psychologist kind of on a semi-regular basis. So like had some pretty consistent work with him last year, and then this year sort of didn't quite need the support that I did the year before, which has been good. But I'm actually booked in to see him at 2:30 today, which will be great, just to unpack a few things that have happened over the last few weeks, because it's kind of been like a whirlwind, really, like the whole Bunnings launch and everything that's going on. Just knowing what's gets the best out of myself has been good. And then, trying to limit screen time and just reading books and all those sorts of things are really good for my head noise. And then also making sure that I'm, not thinking about work or working, all hours of the day, because that can be, pretty overwhelming. So you're really trying to switch off and get back to basics is something that, I see a really good return on my time for sure.
Love that, brother. Really important that you can weaponize yourself, and to give to so many people, you need to be able to like really fill your own cup. Love the to-do list and not switching off from work, because you must switch off. Like the to-do list is not going anywhere. It's going to be
Yeah.
there.
It'll be there tomorrow. Like the problems you have Friday Arvo are still there Monday morning. So just get in and crack into it then, So yeah, and I mean the other big thing for me is just like consistency around sleep, right? Like just being in bed and getting 8 hours a night because I'm up at 4:30, sort of 4 days a week. So, if I'm not in bed by 8, you feel a pretty big reduction in power and just overall like your head noise is probably up a bit if I'm not getting those hours anyway. So yeah, sleep consistency is super important for me.
Really well said. Great tips because I wanted to hear from you. We hadn't even spoken about this off air. This is the first time we've met properly. So I love that. And I think people can take that. Apart from the fact that they've got this amazing organisation to reach out to if anyone is in need. And obviously the show notes will put all their TradeMutt details as well. Your tips, because you're the one heading it up. You're the one. You're at the coalface. You are driving the truck. So for you to be wise enough and in tune enough to look after yourself is crucial. And I love that. I love that, brother. Tell me about the day-to-day proceedings. Now, you haven't touched the tool since 2018, is that correct?
Yeah, well, we did build the TIACS. We built the TIACS office in the back of the TradeMutt warehouse, sort of, 2019, 2020. So that was, we did get on the tools a bit there, but yeah, nothing, haven't done any, trade work officially for, since 2018. So, it's been quite a while since I've been on the tools. Yeah.
What about the design stuff? Now, I definitely, I've got a lot of very good mates that are tradies and very, very good mates. Borderline brothers for life. I can't imagine them being so magnificently artistic as this. This is some magnificent work. Who came up with all the designs for all the trademark stuff?
Yeah, so we've got in-house designers. So Iris is our lead fashion designer, so she does all our prints. And then we do some collaborations as well, which are really cool. So we're starting to do a few more of those as well, just to take the pressure off, Iris's creative ability because we sort of crank out a new print every 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a lot to sort of conceptualize and bring together and just to have that creative space can be difficult at times. So just trying to free her up a bit and work with some other artists has been really cool. So I often think, God, what else can we actually do here? But we always seem to come up with another print, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, on that, that's pretty cool. So the trademark website is where everyone, the listeners, can go to. Obviously these shirts are in Bunnings, but do you want to go through some of the merch online they can purchase?
Yeah, so for us, it's taken us a fair few years to figure out sort of what the best mix of products are to have on the website because as I'm sure you'd know, like as soon as you start having some success, everyone asks you to do sort of everything. And again, we've been like, well, we've tested things, we've learned in real time. We're like, no, we don't do that because of X, Y, and Z. So for us, the central focus is obviously around the shirts, right? So full print and high vis shirts to make sure that people can get around it on Funky Shirt Friday and help start conversation. So that's the central piece of our entire business. It's just like funky work shirts. Secondly to that, it's a range of accessories and other things that people can sort of get around at a cheaper price point to also support what we're doing. But what we've also realized was we need limited edition ranges to kind of continue to refresh it, go to new audiences and reach new people, but also allow our existing customer base to get access to newer stuff more often. So we've got a core range, which we hold on our website, which we've just launched last month, which we'll have on our website for sort of 18 months to 2 years, which businesses can buy and continue to purchase over that 2 year period to ensure they've got some consistency around prints. But then every 4 to 6 weeks, like I said earlier, we'll have a limited edition print come out that people can get around. And once it's sold out, that's it. So just those sorts of things to be able to manage sort of both sides and people's expectations again.
Love the clarity of business model. I reckon that's really important for something as important as this, what you guys are doing, and it's only going to flourish from here. The importance of clarity and niche around the business model. On the back of this top, this is a conversation starter on the back of this top. It's got the massive words, and I love that. And it normalizes everything. And so we should be. Someone's got a sore Achilles on the job site or a bad knee, you're going to have a conversation with someone. Someone's got
Yep.
the flu or COVID. You're going to have a conversation with someone, and this is extremely important that we normalise this amongst blue collar workers and the like. It's a really important conversation to have. What's the future hold, great man, for Edward Ross and
Oh,
Dogs?
the future, I think it's yeah, I think it's just managing the scale, right? Yeah, I think it's managing the scale and making sure that we're staying true to who we are, because now with the national activation with Bunnings, there's a lot more interest, a lot more eyeballs on us, and again, people reaching out wanting to help. I think a really interesting thing for us is knowing, yeah, what help we say yes and no to, because there's just so much that comes through, and it can be overwhelming at times because, like I said earlier, people are doing it out, from a good place, like they want to help or they want to support us, but it's kind of like you can only do so much before you actually really start hindering yourself. So, events and fundraisers and, talks, and there's just so many requests that come through, and it's just, yeah, managing all those things and figuring it out. But from a commercial standpoint, we're really interested in getting some, on-site training, and, really building out that next part for TradeMutt, which can help sort of activate our audience in doing those next steps, which is, creating those connections on a, peer-to-peer level, which is really lacking. It's so interesting once you get to know people, that you work with or you surround yourself with on a continual basis, and you actually get to know them on a deeper level. The empathy that you then understand and what makes them tick, it just, yeah, makes life like a hell of a lot easier. And I noticed that with our staff that I spend more time with, be it on going on a road trip or going to a meeting or whatever, when I get to spend that sort of one-on-one time, I build those stronger connections with them. But a lot of people within, businesses just don't have that spare time. What we want to be able to do is kind of empower that and allow, yeah, these job sites to have a stronger connection, right? So, this, the age-old thing, some older tradie's got the shits with the younger apprentice because he's lazy or whatever. But who, God knows, like that apprentice might have had a really ordinary upbringing and didn't have really good male role models, so he doesn't even know what hard work is, right? But once that older tradie can understand that, then he can have more empathy and then be rather than someone that's just getting the shits because someone's not working as hard, they can actually understand how to make them improve, So there's all those sorts of things are kind of the next steps. It's just a matter of setting some time aside and getting into it.
I reckon that's a massively positive objective, not just for happiness and productivity on the work side and the job side, but connection in general, for life, and the connection is such a huge part of health and longevity and all this kind of stuff, that if someone can feel closer to their people they work with or around a lot of the time in that week, even if they're totally different individuals with totally different upbringings and socioeconomic backgrounds, it's crucial. So that connection, empathy is something we can all strive for, and I love that, mate. I reckon that, and you've got the umbrella to do it. It's obviously, and I think you guys are both intelligent enough not to force the round peg through the square hole. Don't rush the process; it'll come.
Totally.
Because you're only, again, like the 2 years, and I know you've got some amazing staff, but the way it's happening organically at the moment, I think it's a great start. I love that. I think what you're doing is building connection anyway. I think these shirts and the funky shirts and the business model is a great connection builder. I think it's a really cool and easy way for people to connect and have conversations. And then obviously, yeah, the next step with TIACS is huge. I love that. Do you want to tell us where we can find yourselves, TradeMutt and TIACS? It'll be in the show
Yeah.
notes as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, anyone struggling at the moment with TIACS, how they can find that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the work shirts and everything that we're doing with TradeMutt's just trademutt.com, TradeMutt.com, and then TIACS, yeah, for anyone out there that wants to speak to a professional, free and ongoing, it's 04 888 469 88. So we're Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and early intervention. But you don't need to be struggling yourself. You can ring on behalf of someone else and understand how you can support them, or just understand how the service operates. So at a time of need, you can feel more empowered to touch base. So yeah, very much a early intervention service where we can support you before it gets to crisis.
Yeah, love it. We'll put all those details in the show notes, of course. I love people hearing that. I think it's really, really important. Any last words, advice, great man? Anything? Any Ted
No,
Whitten type speeches? Do you know who Ted
no.
Whitten is? You're a Queenslander. Do you know Ted Whitten? Should I say Melbourne Inga? Any Melbourne Inga type speeches?
Oh, goodness me. No, I think it's just yeah, understanding, who you are and what makes you tick, and yeah, these sort of, the self-discovery pieces. There's many ways to go about it. And I think yeah, if you want to, get something off your chest and have a chat, just give TIACS a call. They're there. And the idea of you taking that service away from someone else is an outdated one. We're fully funded, and if we're on the phone and can't answer it straight away, we'll be giving you a call back. So yeah, please reach out and understand how it works.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Rick.
TradeMutt. Sorry, mate.
No, I appreciate the time.
TradeMutt. They're creating conversations. They're building connection, and they're just making these kind of conversations lighthearted, easy to have. And speaking of easy, they have definitely broken down barriers and removed friction for anyone looking for professional help of the elite level via TIACS, and just ease of entry is amazing. I love everything about what they do. I love their tops. I love their funky tops. I love their drink bottles, and I love everything about them. The co-founder of TradeMutt. Thanks so much, Ed Ross, for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks, Rick. Really appreciate it, mate.
Mate, I appreciate you. It's a sensational day to be alive. I'm going to hop up to Queensland and say good day to Ed, but we'll have a Diet Coke, not a schooner.
Sounds good, mate.